From Moment to Movement with Tamara Banks has been made possible through the generous support of the Anchor Point Foundation, helping nonprofit organizations and leaders creatively solve problems in their communities around the world.
Racism is steeped into the very core of this country. And now, in 2020, Black voices are tired of being ignored, muffled, and killed. Millions of Americans are demonstrating, protesting to make their voices heard, especially Black Americans. A movement has to arise from the ashes of the moment. From Moment to Movement is a series of one-on-one truth-telling conversations with the Black community, aimed at working towards addressing police brutality and changing systemic racism.
Our guest today is Sarah Collins Rudolph. She survived the 1963 church bombing in Birmingham that killed her sister and 3 other little girls. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. It's truly an honor to know you and to have you on our program today. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me.
Sarah, let me just kind of set the tone, or have you set the tone for us on that morning. As we look back 50 some odd years later now. And I don't know about you, but when I was a little girl and my mom got me dressed up and ready for church, I mean, we were decked out in little dresses and shoes and maybe a matching little hat. What did you do that morning to get ready for church? Do you remember?
Yes, that morning was going to be a youth day, Sunday, and we was going to sing in the choir. So we was getting ready for that Sunday, and we had choir rolls hanging in the choir room. So we was going to put them on that Sunday.
Oh, nice. That sounds like it was beautiful. Now, did you walk to church, or how do you get to church back then?
Yeah, we walked. It was my sister Janie, Ed, and I. We walked all the way to church.
Oh, wow. How far was that?
It was about a mile.
Okay, not too far, not too far. So you walk in, and what was happening when you first got there? Was the choir singing? Was there prayer right away? What did it feel like at that very beginning moments of church service?
Well, when we arrived at church, they was already having Sunday school that morning. So what we did, since we was late, we just stayed in the ladies' lounge and was waiting for church to start.
Mm-hmm. And so, tell me then about the moment that things changed in your life, and you heard what you later would learn was an explosion. What led up to that, and what was happening?
Well, that morning, while I was looking out the doorway for class to turn out, that's when I seen Denise McNair, Cynthia West, and Carol Robinson. They walked into the lounge where Ed and I were, and they spoke to us and went on to the other side where the stalls. And when they came out, Denise walked over to Ed and asked her to tie the sash on her dress. And I remember how when she turned around and Ed reached out to tie the sash, that's when I heard this loud noise, boom. And I didn't know what it was. All I can do was say, Jesus. And then Addie, but she didn't answer. So I didn't know what it was until I heard someone holler out, somebody bombed the 16th Street Church. And their voice was so clear as though they was in there with us. But right where Addie and the girls were standing, it blew a big hole in the church. And a man came in and got me out. His name was Samuel Rutledge.
So somebody came and pulled you out, one of the adults in the congregation. Did he pull you out of the debris and the rubble?
No, since I was blinded from the debris, he told me later on, you know, in the years when I began to go around to the library, and he seen me because he stayed right across the street from the library, and he told me that he asked me did I know who he were, so I said no. He said his name was Samuel Rutley. He was the one that came in and picked me up and carried me out to the ambulance.
Remind me how old you were, Sarah.
Well, I got hurt at the age of 12.
And you said you lost your sight for it, but you lost your eye,
Yes,
right?
Yeah, debris came entered into both of my eyes, but I was able to see out of my left eye, but I lost my right eye, and they had to remove it.
And you also lost your sister.
Yes, yes. I found out when that when they came out when I came out of recovery, and they put me in my room. My mother was upstairs waiting on me. I didn't know what had happened to them since I had got blinded, but she told me that all the girls that was in the ladies' lounge with me, they was all killed. I was the only survivor.
Oh,
That's why they killed those girls.
wow. How did I mean, it's such a silly question, but how did your heart feel? How did you cope with that?
Well, for one thing, I was angry because these were some sweet girls and they was killed for nothing. So for a long time, I was just angry and hurt because my sister and I, we was very close. We was our friends, and it just hurt me for a long time. Because, you know, after after I got out the hospital, they let me go back to school the next week. I was in the hospital a couple of months, and instead of them helping me trying to get back on my feet, I had to go back to school. And when I went back to school, I was in a very nervous condition.
Oh, I bet. So you were in the hospital for several weeks, a couple months, I think you said, and then they made you go back to school with no sort of support system, it sounds like.
No, they didn't counsel me or anything, and nervous and upset, and my grades dropped, and they just didn't realize what a bomb did to me. And like I say, my grades had drops, and all I could think about was that day and my sister, you know, getting killed like that.
Wow, you're just a little girl. So Sarah, you use the past tense of are. You said you were angry. So you're not angry anymore? Tell me about that.
No, I had to get prayer, and I had to go back and just think about it. I didn't want to continue to feel that way. I was getting to the point where I was acting just like the clans, just angry at the white people. And I didn't want to continue my life like that. So what I did, I had to start reading the Bible and start getting close to God. That's when God began to take all that hate out of me, because something like that, I didn't know how to cope with it. So I just started hating them just like they did us. But God,
I'm sorry for interrupting. I was just going to say that that's huge to go from, first of all, recognizing that you were as hate-filled as the Klan was and the white supremacists who did this to you. And then you did an about-face, a 180, and you came around and now through God, and Christianity, and you said, I think you said reading the Bible and lots of prayer, you went 180, and now you're not holding that anger anymore. Is that right?
Right, because I hold it for a long time. I think until I had got 40, 43. It didn't take, it wasn't overnight now, like 2 weeks I got my life straight. It took some time because I was hurt for a long time.
That's a huge testimony, and if I can bring us forward to 2020, and I'm when you see or hear the news reports today of specifically police brutality, unarmed Black people being killed at the hands of police officers specifically, but then also generally speaking, racism in America and systemic racism. Did you ever think back in 1963, coming forward to 2020, that we would be in this same spot?
No, I didn't. I never did think that we would be here today because, you know, we was fighting for our civil rights at that time. And when they signed the Civil Rights Bill, I really thought things would change, but we back in the same spot again. And it's just wrong the way we have been treated as Black people that did no harm, you know. So time has gone back.
Have you seen the video of George Floyd's killing?
Yes, I seen it, and I just couldn't do nothing but just cry when I seen that because it was wrong. This man didn't do anything for them to heal him that way. So it just came back to how things were in the city of Birmingham. You know, we had a lot of angry police, and Bull Connor put the police on the marches, and it just took me back.
There seems to be similar kind of anger today in 2020. I don't know what party affiliation that you're in, and I don't want to speak for you, but I will think that most people can agree that there's something happening with a leadership in the country where there's a sense of anger that's being stoked by the White House, that it's more divisive and pulling people apart than bringing people together. Do you feel that?
Yes, I've been feeling it for a long time. We have a person in office now that don't Black lives don't matter to him, as though he's in other words, he's just a racist to me. When Trump said he wants America great again, you know, America is already great. But I feel like that when he say that, he wants to make America white again, because, you know, that's what we was going through with in the 60s, how the whites didn't want us to have our civil rights. So since we got our civil rights and began to prosper, look like they want to send us back to that same old way again. So it's not right. Our president should be for all the people.
Sarah, thank you so much for sharing your story. I hope that people across America look to you as an example of what can be, what positive can happen from what's going on in the world. And so appreciate your efforts and being here and sharing your story, because, you know, I wanted to start our interview with this and say that to ask you to tell your story is not to try to re-traumatize you, but I know you like to be able to share your story so other people can learn from it. So we're truly grateful that you did that. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you so much.
And thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all watching as well. If you want more information about this episode or others, just go to pbs12.org. I'm Tamara Banks, and we will see you next time.
From Moment to Movement with Tamara Banks has been made possible through the generous support of the Anchor Point Foundation, helping nonprofit organizations and leaders creatively solve problems in their communities around the world.